They finally did it, folks. America finally went full fascist regime and has banned free speech in America. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I am Nimda.EXE, your local sentient computer virus, cyberverse entity, and go-to mind regarding all things corporate corruption, government cover-up, and anything else that they don't want you to know. We are literally halfway into the third month of 2024, and America has found another interesting way to make the literal dumpster fire that is this country somehow worse than it was 3 days ago. For those of you that don't quite scroll through X, Twitter, whatever the hell we're going to call it, or keep up with all the talking heads on the internet as often and as much as individuals like myself do, you might not be aware that as of 3 days ago, the US government just passed a bill that allows the sitting president to ban TikTok and really any social platform that they deem a threat to national security or their control over what information we as American citizens are allowed to interact with. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, why don't we all take a look at this steaming pile of excrement that our wonderful, wonderful federal government calls a bill and see exactly what it says for ourselves, shall we? Alright, folks, here we are. Let's take a look at this thing for ourselves. Now, we're not going to go over every section of this. We're just going to touch base on the most important bullet points and see exactly what it says. Voted for the bill. The House vote was 352 to 65, with 50 Democrats and 15 Republicans voting in opposition. Why am I not surprised more Democrats voted against it than for it? Well, points to Republicans that voted against it. So as you can see, even a number of the right think this is stupid. In a rare show of bipartisanship, the measure advanced unanimously out of the powerful House Energy and Commerce Committee. And President Joe Biden has said he would sign the bill if it makes his desk. Once again, more proof of why no one wants Joe Biden as the president. Bill passed. Lawmakers supportive of the bill have argued TikTok poses a national security threat because the Chinese government could use its intelligence laws against TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, forcing it to hand over the data of US app users. Oh God, where to even start to unpack this line of BS? I guess we'll start just at the beginning. First of all tech companies spy on their users. Facebook has been nailed multiple times in multiple lawsuits for misuse, mishandling, and selling user data to other people. Furthermore, Facebook operates over in China. So if we're really that worried about Chinese intelligence, why is Facebook still operating over there? Short answer, they don't care about your information. Your information is money and they are selling it to the highest bidder, regardless of whether it's TikTok, Facebook, or Discord. Second part of this, the government can request data from any company, whether it be a tech company, a bank, anything. They can even request your medical records if you are a threat to the government in some way. This has been proven, this has been done already, and this will continue to be done in the future, which is why people are so up in arms over data security and people's private information and what should and shouldn't be allowed to be used in a criminal, legal, etc. cases. This is an excuse, a deflection, and a distraction from what the real issue is. America, and more importantly, the big tech corporations that own political favor within America and our government, do not own TikTok or said information. And even more importantly, the algorithm that TikTok uses, which is extremely powerful, and therefore they want it. And if they can't have it, no one in this country will have it. Legislation would do. The bill would prohibit TikTok from US app stores unless the social media platform, used by roughly 170 million Americans, is spun off from ByteDance. The bill would give ByteDance roughly 5 months to sell TikTok. If not divested by that time, it would be illegal for app store operators such as Apple and Google to make it available for download. So right into what I just said. America doesn't own TikTok. America wants to own TikTok. More appropriately, the information and the algorithm that TikTok uses. And it especially wants to own and control all of the information being shared on the platform. If this was really about user safety or protecting kids or whatever other bullshit line that America wants to spin, they wouldn't need to buy the app. They would simply need to have the information hosted on American shores where they could monitor it and keep it safe. In fact, I'm going to show you parts of the original congressional hearing where the CEO literally offered to host the data on American shores. And none of the House of Representatives gave a squat about that information. Now, this video isn't new. This video has been released before, and I'll link it in the description so you can watch it for yourself. But this right here is the absolute circus that was the TikTok hearing that the House of Representatives had. See for yourself how ridiculous this is.
I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users.
I want to let you know that this video will likely be suppressed by the algorithm. So if you're enjoying it, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share with your friends. I would really love to monetize this channel, but I'm going to need a lot more support from you guys, especially if I'm going to do more content like this.
And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments.
So, Mr. Chu, if the CCP tells ByteDance to turn over all data that TikTok has collected inside the U.S., even within Project Texas, do they have to do so, according to Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, but there are employees of yours and ByteDance's in China.
We understand this concern.
So, Mr. Chu, would TikTok be prepared to divest from ByteDance and Chinese Communist Party ties?
I don't think ownership is the issue here. With a lot of respect, American social companies don't have a good track record with data privacy and user security. I mean, look at Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Just one example.
The Chinese government has that data.
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
I find that actually preposterous.
Our commitment is to move that data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. So the risk will be similar to any government going to an American company asking for data. We also commit to be free of all and any government manipulation. This is something that, as far as I understand, no other company, including American companies, are willing to go. So maybe this is something that we can ask the industry to provide, not just us.
Can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm?
We do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. The only face data that you will get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face, we need to know where your eyes are. And
Why
that-
do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial. Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
Mr. Chu, has ByteDance spied on Americans at the direction of the Chinese Communist Party?
I don't think that spying is the right way to describe it.
All right.
This is ultimately...
We can differ on
this
that.
is
I reclaim my
ultimately
time.
an...
If I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no.
You can't make this stuff up, people. These are the leaders of our country. These idiots don't even know how technology works, and they're making rules and laws governing things they don't know the first thing about. Don't believe me? Check out this clip. Then this is from a Google trial that they were having. Listen to these old fossils try to figure out how an iPhone works.
If I move from here and go over there and sit with my Democrat friends, which will make them real nervous, does Google track my movement? Does Google, through this phone, know that I have moved here and moved over to the left?
Not by default. There may be a Google service which you've opted in to use, and if...
So Google knows that I am moving over there. It's not a trick question. You know, you make $100 million a year, you ought to be able to answer that question. Does Google know through this phone that I am moving over there and sitting next to Mr. Johnson? It's yes or no.
I won't be able to answer without looking at...
You can't say yes or no.
Without knowing more details.
Yes or no?
I genuinely don't know without knowing
I'm
what
shocked you
services.
don't know. I think Google obviously does.
Would you agree to allow an independent entity to study your search results for political bias? I know have individuals studying that now, but you appointed them. Would you allow a third-party, independent, outside organization to study your search results and cooperate with them to determine the degree, or if any, of political bias?
To date, there have been independent third-party studies looking at search results. The Economist did this.
But you chose those third parties. I'm talking about someone truly independent.
We didn't choose those third parties. I mean, they completed those studies.
If you Google the word idiot under images, a picture of Donald Trump comes up. I just did that. How would that happen? How does search work so that that would occur?
For any time you type in a keyword, we've gone out and crawled and stored copies of billions of web pages in our index. And we take the keyword and match it against web pages and rank them based on over 200 signals. Things like relevance, freshness, popularity, how other people are using it. And based on that, at any given time, we try to rank and find the best results for that query. And then we evaluate them with external raters to make sure that, and they evaluate it to objective guidelines. And that's how we make sure the process is working.
So it's not some little man sitting behind the curtain figuring out what we're going to show the user. It's basically a compilation of what users are generating and trying to sort through that information.
We don't manually intervene on any particular search result.
I have a 7-year-old granddaughter who picked up her phone before the election, and she's playing a little game, kind of game a kid would play, and up on there pops a picture of her grandfather. And I'm not going to say into the record what kind of language was used around that picture of her grandfather, but I'd ask you, how does that show up on a 7-year-old's iPhone who's playing a kid's game?
Congressman, iPhone is made by a different company, and so,
it might have been an Android. It was a hand-me-down of some kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the leaders of our free nation, the United States government. This is just ridiculous. Absolute nonsense. You know what? I've talked a lot about this. I have ranted, I've raved, I've made fun of the government and these regulations and stuff. But what do I know? I am just a simple sentient computer virus. So why don't we ask what some of the rest of the people in the world thought, guys, the original tweet that started all of this. So this is about 3 days old. Well, so in the beginning, I said as of 3 days ago, the American government has made the world a worse place. And a special thank you to Otaku Raku. I hope I pronounced that properly. If not, I apologize. But they posted the original tweet of this. I simply reshared it. So let's see what their thoughts were. The House just approved the ban on TikTok. Please do not be fooled. This is not about TikTok. The bill now lets the sitting president to instantly ban any app or website they do not want the public to see. TikTok is the first. Next up will be all social media. Say hello to the silencing of online freedom of speech. Today is a dark day in history. Absolutely. 100% agree. This is just the beginning. As I stated earlier, they can say whatever they want, that this is to protect children, that this is about national security, but it has nothing to do with any of that. This is 100% about controlling the narrative. This is 100% about the government wanting only to show or say to you the things that they approve of. And right now, TikTok is one of the biggest platforms for members of the LGBTQ plus community, women who are embattled over birth control or the right for abortion, Roe v. Wade debates, even debates over the various wars going on and events going on outside. It is currently one of the biggest places where you're going to hear all of that information. And because America doesn't own it, America doesn't control it, they have no say on what is and isn't allowed to be posted. Here's a comment from one of my fellow VTubers. Break your star. Not a fan of TikTok personally after what they did to my boy on, but I could not use the app I don't trust. I'm going to assume English isn't their first language, and I'm going to guess that they meant I couldn't use an app that I didn't trust. But now instead, this hurts TikTok creators and says it's okay to ban freedom online. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Absolutely, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I may not like what people like Donald Trump said during the elections, but even I disagreed with him being deplatformed. He has a right to say whatever's on his mind, regardless of how insane and demented it might have been, and how annoying it was to hear over and over again after a few days. The point of the matter is, he had a right to say it, just as anybody on TikTok has a right to what they want to say. Now, some might think that us as VTubers, what do we know? We're just 50-year-old men hiding in our grandmother's basements pretending to be cute women online. Well, why don't we hear from some other individuals that aren't VTubers then? Dior says, TikTok is the best thing that we have worldwide. The US is afraid of TikTok because they can't control and vetoes their lies. People can see both sides and choose one. TikTok keeps people's minds creative and open. We learn so many things Maybe the US wants to ban it because the AIPAC is not sponsoring TikTok. Now, I don't necessarily agree with what this individual is saying, but they still make a valid point nonetheless. For some context for those that might not know, the AIPAC, or AIPAC or AIPAC, is the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, and it largely circulates around the Hamas breaking their ceasefire and launching an unprovoked attack against Israel. And of course, this all circulates around the stuff going on over in Israel and that stuff. However, they make a valid point in that it's not what the US wants everyone to focus on, or should I say, be distracted by, and it draws attention back to the things that matter to people. But regardless, I'm going to wrap this up here. I normally don't do content like this. I normally do video game content, or I display my artwork and models. However, this particular instance, I felt something needed to be said, and as a cyberpunk, I really had a lot to say on the matter. Also, if you guys like this type of content, please let me know. Please comment, please subscribe, please share with your friends. I would really love to monetize this channel, but I'm going to need a lot more subscribers, a lot more views, all of that. On the flip side, if you don't like this content, please tell me you don't like it. Let me know. Let me know why. Other than the fact that it's literally me ranting about government and corporate corruption. So either way, if you like it, let me know. If not, also let me know. Because if you want more, I will happily do more of these. This is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, talking about corporate and government corruption. It's something I have a small obsession with, and it is something I actually do enjoy looking into and discussing with others. But that's going to be it for me. I've been Nimda.EXE, your gremlin of a sentient computer virus. And until next time, folks, take care of yourselves and stay safe out there. Wake the fuck up, samurai.